I'm Jay Deher. I've been on top of Utah's real estate market for over 10 years. I will show you things about this market that you never knew. Welcome to Real Estate Essentials. I'm your host, Jay Deher. On this week's program, I'm going to show you a revolutionary way to move a high-end property extremely quickly.
Here's some good reasons why to do business with Michael Chevrolet. 1, we're now open on Saturdays for parts and service. 2, you save on sales tax. 3, we have a shuttle service that'll pick you up, drop you off. You're in the market to buy a car. Michael Chevrolet is rated the highest that you can get in customer satisfaction. The highest. And when you buy a car from us, you get 2 years and 24,000 miles free maintenance. I'm not lying. We're right across from the outlet malls, right off the freeway. Michael Chevrolet. Why'd you go anywhere else? Come on in.
ABC4 Utah wants you to ask the expert. During our 4 p.m. newscast, you'll see experts from Utah answering your questions on a variety of topics.
Options Animal is here to help you take control of your financial future.
Every Tuesday, we will answer your questions on the overall financial markets and how you can effectively manage your own investments.
At Options Animal, we understand that nobody cares more about your money than you do.
Just go to abc4.com/expert and submit your questions to our experts today.
U.S. Luxury Group is having an absolute auction of this beautiful home. Auction will be held on September 14th at 11 a.m. Public open houses will be held each Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 o'clock. For more information, visit usluxurygroup.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Essentials. Let me ask you a question. If you had a really high-end piece of art and you wanted to sell it, what would you do? Well, you'd take it to Christie's and get it auctioned, right, for the highest bidder. Well, what if you own a really high-end piece of property, like real estate? What would you do with it? Why wouldn't you treat it that same way? I've actually got Dean here with U.S. Luxury Group, so welcome to the show, Dean.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me on.
So now tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
The problem with high-end luxury real estate in this market, or any market across the U.S., what happens is these sellers, they list their home with the agents. The agents go out and do the best job that they can, but these homes, it's a soft market, and so these homes, it takes a very unique buyer to purchase those homes.
And there's only so many of them, right?
Exactly. And so these homes sit on the market for months, if not years, with very little traction and very little interest in the homes.
And so the sellers have no choice but to drive the price down to try and catch up with it, right?
That's exactly right. So what happens is these poor sellers are sitting there with heavy costs to carry, and they just have to keep reducing and then reducing until
they finally give it away.
Until they finally give it away.
And so now what is your process? What do you guys do?
What we do here at U.S. Luxury Group is we partner up with the agents and the seller. We go out and we do an accelerated marketing program on the home, nationwide and also locally. And we go out and we find those qualified buyers and we bring them to the table.
You kind of through a bunch of marketing, get them all interested in the property. And
that is correct. Now, the nice thing also is we have open houses that we run 3 consecutive weekends in a row and then a final preview on the Friday before the auction. That gives us a look.
So you actually auction off these homes then?
We auction off the home. It's going to sell to the highest bidder.
Are these distressed properties or what are they?
Absolutely not distressed. These are simply sellers that want to move on with their life. They've had enough. They've tried the traditional real estate. It didn't work for what they wanted. And they just
didn't work quick enough.
It worked quick enough.
Effectively.
And so they just want to sell the house and move on. They want to go to the next part of their life.
And so when you sell these things, what if they don't, is like a reserve on these things or what is it?
It's not a reserve, it's an absolute auction, so it's going to be sold to the highest bidder on the day of the auction.
Really? And so it's just absolute, like that's it, that day it is?
That's it, that day.
Wow, spectacular. Well, we're in an absolutely spectacular home, Dean. Why don't you walk us through this thing? Let's take a look at it.
You got it.
So this is the house that they're going to auction off, and some of you may recognize this home because it was featured on HGTV's $1 Million Room.
Already a popular house.
Yeah, the seller actually spent $1.8 million creating this inside, just absolute incredible piece of work, really.
When you took me through this house, it was one of the most amazing homes I have ever seen. There were so many unique properties to this house.
Yeah, it's unlike any other house I've ever seen. And as you approach the front door right here and it opens up, just steps off of that opening door, you look over and this is what you're going to see.
Beautiful swimming pool,
Yeah.
right there in the house.
And in Utah, where else would you want a pool? Because usually you can only use a pool in this climate, you know, a couple months out of the year. Well, this one, because the way they built it inside and put the dehumidifiers in there, this literally is your own hotel or resort, which is incredible.
You can see both of those staircases going down right to the pool.
Yeah, 10 feet deep, and it's one of those really nice saltwater pools, so it doesn't hurt your eyes. And you can see they just created these nice little seating areas with that fireplace that looks through into the hot tub area.
That hot tub, when I first saw it, I thought it was a lazy river.
It looks
so
so like
big.
that, huh?
Yeah.
And they have all these beautiful bedrooms off it. The master suite, which we're going to go to in just a few minutes, is just absolutely incredible.
So this seller of this home, I don't know much about him.
He actually was a commercial contractor. And so he had the crew and everything to put this whole thing together. He's kind of the guy, you know, if T-Mobile goes in and wants to change out all their design, you know, they'll close like on a Friday and then open up the next day and it's all put in place. He's the guy that goes in there and does all this stuff.
Oh, no wonder his house is remodeled so beautifully.
Yeah, so we're headed now into the master bedroom, which you can see is just the way it should be, which is a true master suite. And the French doors literally open out and to overlook that whole, the beautiful pool. That tub right there, there's a funny story with that. The original price tag on that tub was $6,000, but by the time that he got it in there and put the surround on it, it was actually $20,000 just for the tub.
Just for the tub.
Yeah.
Wow.
And as you can see, he spared no expense in all these other areas.
There's that tub again.
So as you can see those French doors, and here we're going into the kitchen, and how are you going to have an incredible home without an incredible kitchen? Well, they got that covered too, didn't they?
Great space. Look at that stove, the range.
Just absolutely beautiful with all those pendant lights, and it's a surprisingly large kitchen.
The home to me felt like a resort.
So we're headed down into the game room, and it's set up just the way it should be, with all the jerseys on the wall and all your TV set up on different channels so you can watch all the games and just enjoy and play a little pool at the same time. And so this house is going to be auctioned off on September 14th at 11 o'clock. But that's it. Auction. They're going to hit the gavel and it's going to be done.
Done.
So they'll be doing open houses every Saturday and Sunday between 1 and 4 o'clock. And so open to the general public. So if you want to come by, because the pictures really don't do this justice, you really need to see this home in person. You can just come by and register right at the door, and feel free. You can go look at the car barn with the 30 cars in there. Well, they can fit like 30 cars in there. But they are going to do one last showing on the Friday before, which will be on the 13th, between 4 and 8 o'clock. So it's every Saturday and Sunday, except for that Friday before. And then auction is September 14th at 11 o'clock.
And that Friday open house is open to the public, right?
All of them are. Even the auction's
It's
open
fantastic.
to the public. Well, I tell you what, let's go meet with the seller and hear a story on this incredible home.
You don't need someone dropping the ball on your mortgage. Recruit a professional, Darin Rhodes, Utah's mortgage pro. He's got the skills, speed, and experience to win the best financing for your home. So draft Darin today at utahmortgagepro.com.
Searching down home flyers is so 1980s. If you are ever driving around and you find your dream neighborhood, all you need to do is download Jade's free mobile app. Using this app, you can search for homes, investment properties, and vacant land available using your phone's GPS. What you need to do is text JSLC to 87778. Text JSLC to 87778.
U.S. Luxury Group is having an absolute auction of this beautiful home. Auction will be held on September 14th at 11 a.m. Public open houses will be held each Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 o'clock. For more information, visit usluxurygroup.com. Wow, Keith, that's an incredible home. So why are you selling? Why are you moving?
Well, I'll tell you, as my family's all grown up, they're kind of out doing their own thing. I've got other places I'd like to spend more time at. I have a place in Montana that I want to be at. I want to downscale my life and start to simplify things.
Okay, so did you try and sell it traditionally?
Oh yeah, I had it on the market for a couple of years. Just really wasn't very effective. So
you're having a hard time trying to get that buyer.
Yeah, it's it's a different kind of place.
Okay, good for
Right,
you. So,
yeah.
so how'd you get in touch with the U.S. Luxury Group?
Well, my current realtor, just kind of, I won't say running out of ideas, but trying to keep good ideas out there for us to do, suggested that I meet with these guys. Yeah. And I met with Matt and Dean, and I did a lot of my own research, and thought it was a pretty good way to go.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So how's the process been so far?
Oh yeah, these guys are rock stars. It's been great.
They're getting it done.
Yeah, they're getting it done. They're so far it's where the rubber hits the road. They're doing it. Yeah.
Great. So does the auction make you nervous? The absolute auction?
Not really. I mean, I didn't get where I got in life by running from, a challenge here and there. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we are super excited to tune in and see how this thing goes. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back after a 60-second break.
You don't need someone dropping the ball on your mortgage. Recruit a professional. Darin Rhodes, Utah's mortgage pro. He's got the skills, speed, and experience to win the best financing for your home. So draft Darin today at utahmortgagepro.com.
Searching down home flyers is so 1980s. If you are ever driving around and you find your dream neighborhood, all you need to do is download Jade's free mobile app. Using this app, you can search for homes, investment properties, and vacant land available using your phone's GPS. What you need to do is text JSLC to 87778. Text JSLC to 87778.
U.S. Luxury Group is having an absolute auction of this beautiful home. Auction will be held on September 14th at 11 a.m. Public open houses will be held each Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 o'clock. For more information, visit usluxurygroup.com. So Dean, this whole auction idea is really brilliant, and I always love these new creative ideas that coming up with selling real estate and stuff. Now you guys were involved in that big glass house up there in Olympus Cove, weren't you?
Yeah, we were. That's the old Stottsdale home. And, the gentleman that we sold that house for, it's actually a really interesting story because he bought the home from a kind of a funny cat that really liked Star Wars stuff. And so he went in and gutted the whole house, or a big portion of it, and remodeled the entire inside of the home. And, that home sat on the market after he did his remodel for 6 years. And I'll bet it didn't have 10 people walk through it in 6 years.
So it was on the market for 6 years, and they had how many people go through it?
10 at the most.
And so he had all the carrying costs of this thing, having to pay for it each month. And he wasn't even living in it, right?
He wasn't. He lived there, I believe, for a couple of years, and then he moved out. So he had all the costs to carry, and it just, the home is a fantastic home. I mean, it's over 10,000 square feet. Every exterior wall on facing out over the valley was glass. I mean, hence the name, the glass house. And the front of the house, normally your swimming pool's behind your house. but the swimming pool was the front focal point of the entire front of the house.
Oh, beautiful.
And it had a big family room that went up over the garage, so when you pulled up the big long driveway, you would pull underneath the family room that's all glass and park up underneath the garage. So it's very modern, very, very unique home for Utah.
So the dilemma was really, it was so unique, there weren't a lot of buyers that it appealed to, and thus how we got so few showings, right?
Exactly. And so for somebody in Utah to go and buy that home, that was a tough order, because it's not a typical Utah house.
And so was he lowering the price down as he went through the process?
Lowering the price, sitting on the market, went through multiple different agents, listed it multiple times, and the typical traditional real estate for some of these higher end properties that are unique is, the seller's bleeding out until they get to the point to where, somebody bites.
Yeah, until they just unload it. And so you guys get involved in the process, and how did that whole thing go?
It was fantastic, because we of course, actually that home we did 4 weeks of open houses. We ran more than 1,200 people through that home.
Wow, that's a lot.
In 4 weeks.
Well, they were only getting 10 before.
Where they had 10 before.
Granted, a lot of those not people that can actually buy it, but more want to look at it, right?
But
that's okay though.
It's the percentages.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game, and you're going after those percentages or people that know people. And the bottom line is when it came down to it, we had approximately seven to eight bidders bidding on the home. We had phone bidders bidding on the home.
Oh, really?
And the home sold, and everybody was happy. We sold the home for fair market value.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about our program. 6 years sitting on a market with very, very little traction,
and we sold in a month.
And we come rolling in there in a month, and
so
not only creates
happy?
so much interest, absolutely happy.
He was ecstatic, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I bet. Well, that's it's very creative. I'm really impressed with you guys and the way you guys have put this together. Good for you. Welcome back to Real Estate Essentials. This is your market in a minute. If anyone ever asks you the question, what's going on in our market, keep in mind there are 3 different markets going on all at the same time. Under $250,000, it's a seller's market. Buyers are snatching up everything they can get as quick as they can. And then from about $250,000 to $700,000, we actually have about as many listings as we have sales. And so we have an equilibrium market. But then above that 700 range in what they call the luxury homes, that's where our market gets a little bit soft, because we don't have enough buyers in there. And those are situations where buyers are trying to take advantage of really good situations and trying to drive those price points down. So that's your market in a minute.
I woke up not knowing if I was going to feel sick that day, not knowing if I was going to be able to go to school or go to work.
I was extremely fatigued. I was sleeping probably close to 16 hours a day.
It was a hard way to live, because you don't understand what's going on in your body, and you feel like you should be healthier in your habits, and you just feel horrible.
Are you suffering from low thyroid or Hashimoto's? Do you have any of these symptoms? Our breakthrough approach for low thyroid and Hashimoto's is here.
I feel like a regular healthy person.
We just got them. They're beautiful. Completely brand new car. You gotta come look at this. It's a V6, gets great fuel economy. I mean, I really like this car. It gets me all excited. And then I see the price, and I see the gas mileage, and I see all the bells and whistles. I'm telling you, why am I not? I should be driving this car.
Acura, smart luxury. Mike Hale Acura, smart choice.
Come to Mike Hale Acura. We have them. Now you can have one. You can always find us on MikeHale.com 24/7.
U.S. Luxury Group is having an absolute auction of this beautiful home. Auction will be held on September 14th at 11 a.m. Public open houses will be held each Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 o'clock. For more information, visit usluxurygroup.com. One of the questions I always get asked is, how do I get more showings on my house? The number one thing that people look at is your curb appeal. And one of the best things you can do for curb appeal is get a really good landscaper. And so I've got Zach here from Huskiez Landscaping. Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Great. So now, a question for you. What makes a really good landscaper versus just kind of an okay landscaper?
I think it's the ability to be creative with the information that the customers give you, and to be able to put that in either in the design or put it into the landscape.
Yeah, kind of give them ideas, kind of walk them through the process, because if they're hiring you, they don't know how to do it, right?
Exactly, and I try to get a feel for people's personality and put their personality into the landscape.
That's so important. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So how much does it cost for a landscape designer?
For us, it depends. If we are doing the landscape, just the design, it can range anywhere from $300 to $1,000, depending on how large the property is.
And then, of course, how much does it cost for the actual landscaper?
If you're looking for a budget, if that's what you're asking, just for a budget, you probably want to budget 5 to 10% of the value of the home.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And of course, that depends on the size of the lot, of course, right?
Exactly.
Because that could vary greatly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So, do you guys help them pick out the right plants for the different areas and all that kind of stuff?
Definitely. And when people use our expertise, that's when we really can get involved and give them the plants that are going to thrive in Utah and be able to be green. You always want things to be green.
Yeah, well, it look nice, right?
Exactly.
So are we in a drought? I know we're really close because it seems like we don't have much water right now. Are we in a drought situation right now?
Yeah, we're always in a drought situation. We're in a desert and we've got to landscape accordingly.
Yeah, well, look, we're lucky we have the mountains, right? Can we get a little snow off of those?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Well, let's head on out and look at this project you've been working on.
So this is what we created. It's the Daw family. About a year ago, we came and met with them, and they were a little bit apprehensive about how to go about their landscaping. So we sat down with them, and it kind of just came about sitting down at their dinner table and say, what do you want? And they started out with their design elements or their ideas, and they wanted it simple, and they wanted it elegant. So this is what happened.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love how flat it is. I always like that kind of style.
Nice and smooth. They wanted some areas that they could plant themselves, so we didn't want to just load it up with a bunch of our own ideas. We left some areas on purpose vacant so that they can kind of gain their own green thumb, if you will. So you start off with the Cherokee walkway up front. They just wanted to be able to access the front door from the sidewalk so you didn't have to walk all the way around the driveway.
And they want that kind of natural feel going up
Exactly. And they took a couple of our ideas as far as like the plantings. We've got a Japanese maple. We've also got a concolor fir, and we added that on the other side. The homeowner, the only thing he wanted to do was to place the boulders. And he placed them a little bit different than I would have done it, but it also, to me, I think it added a lot to the landscape because it's his own little touch. It's his house.
Beautiful.
He might as well, add that little element to it.
Simple and elegant, just like you designed. Well, let's take a look at the backyard here.
They added this vinyl picket fence with kind of some intrigue to the backyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we intentionally left out some of the plantings because they want to gain their own green thumb. They want to be able to come out here and try out and test some of the plants that everyone claims grow well in Utah. So they can get a feel for what grows well here.
Now, our climate can be very challenging for a landscape, right?
Oh, it's hard. I mean, we've got hot, dry climates. We've got really high alkaline soil. So if you don't plant the right plants, they'll never thrive.
Yeah.
They'll grow, but they'll always look pretty sad.
Yeah.
So you want to.
You got to put them in the right areas around the house, depending on the sun and exposure.
And we have all of those options. We've been doing it now for 11 years, so that we know what grows well here. We know what to expect. Their idea of their backyard is they wanted to have all of the kids come and play in their yard. So it's very simple, very laid out, so that they can play a soccer game, a football game, whatever it may be. And so they wanted a big open play field. They, first of all, wanted the garden on this side of the home, but I recommended putting it on the west because there's going to be more sun exposure so that they get a better yield on their vegetables. And you can see that it worked.
It's working really well, apparently.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue on. Yeah, you've done a great job. I love how flat it is. It's almost like a park.
Yeah, and they just kept saying simple, simple, simple.
Yeah.
So we just kept that same design element going.
And when these trees build out, it's going to be like a beautiful park. Huh?
The only thing they wanted, we added these 3 columnar horn beams just to be able to provide some shade to the patio. In the summer months when the sun's going down, they can have a place to sit that's in the shade.
Yeah, well, good for you. All right, Zach. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was a beautiful job. Excellent, excellent work. And we'll be right back just after this. Okay, heading on down into Draper, and we're always looking for cool stories in houses and good decorating, and this particular one has both of those. Some of you may recognize this home. It was actually featured in the hit TV show on Disney by the name of Good Luck Charlie.
Do you remember this one, Darin?
I do remember this.
Yeah. It was more kind of a kids show, I would say, kind of teen based.
Yeah.
But that show is still airing today.
I'd love to live in that house as a teenager.
You bring back a lot of memories of the TV show, right?
Right.
And so, as you can see, it's also got some really nice decoration in it. But they actually, it was on for, I think, the third season's coming up this year. They no longer shoot in this house, but they did for quite a while.
How does somebody even get their house on a TV show?
You actually get your home as on a preferred set list. And so they actually go around and look for houses if you're on that list and they want to shoot somewhere. They'll come by and look at your house, and then they'll pay you for the time that they're in the house. But the dilemma is, you got to move out of your house because they might shoot in there for a couple of weeks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And did they remodel this house specifically for the show?
They actually did. It was actually built in 1998, and in 2010, they went in and redid the whole house. As you can see by that beautiful kitchen there, they've got the Sub-Zero fridge and that beautiful Viking range, and of course, those really nice cabinets are out there. The cabinet's absolutely beautiful. And so, now, obviously, this still appeals, but it's kind of got TV flavor, I guess, because they must have spent a lot of money with those granite countertops, right?
Yeah, it looks timeless.
It really does. It's a beautiful kitchen. So one of the cool things about this house is you're approaching, of course, the decks are incredible as you look out the back, and it's unobstructed views, all the way out, and those will never change. But as you go down into the basement into this one, it's a huge home. It's like over 8,500 square feet on half an acre, but it just keeps going. I mean, the rooms go from one to the next. You can see that kind of look through. There's the kind of the dance area. But what's really cool is there's actually a basement underneath the basement. So it's a 3-story house, but a rambler from the front. So
double basement.
Yeah, so from the front of the house, there you're headed down into the second basement, which is, and I
But look at the light. Look at all the light there.
I actually lost part of my crew. I couldn't find where they were. They're actually in the second basement.
Did you?
So Darin, if you were looking to get a loan on this house, what would it look like?
Well, the purchase price is listed at $759. So if you did a 30-year fixed loan, you do a jumbo loan, you'd want to do that 20% down, which is $152,000. That would put your loan amount at $607,000. So if your APR was at 5.835, then you would expect your monthly payment to be about $3,561 principal and interest.
Yeah, this is a big house at 8,500 square feet.
That is a big house.
Thanks for tuning into the show. In the next couple weeks, we're gonna actually come from different locations here at the Good Karma Lodge, and it's gonna be super exciting because on the last episode, we're actually gonna show you the auction. If you have any questions for us, look us up on Facebook, and we'll see you next week.